The quiet city of Great Falls, Montana, had always felt safe. The kind of place where children walked to school without fear, where neighbors recognized each other, and where danger felt like something that only happened somewhere else. But on a freezing winter morning in February 1996, that illusion shattered. 10-year-old Zachary Ramsey, known to everyone as Zach, left his home like he always did. He was cheerful, energetic, and well-liked. The kind of child who had no reason to be afraid of the world around him. That morning, the streets were covered in snow. Zach wore a blue denim jacket with green sleeves, a football jersey with his last name printed boldly across the back, jeans and black high-top sneakers. He was heading to school just 6 blocks away. It was routine, familiar, safe, or at least it should have been. As he made his way through the neighborhood, Zach kicked at bits of snow along the sidewalk, passing through streets he had walked countless times before. At some point, he turned into an alley, a shortcut he likely used often. That decision would be the last known moment anyone saw him as a free child. Somewhere inside that alley, Zach disappeared. At first, no one panicked. His friends assumed he stayed home sick. The school followed protocol and called his mother. But when she couldn't find him, concern quickly turned into fear. Then fear turned into something much worse. A full-scale search began almost immediately. Volunteers, police officers, and rescue teams flooded the area, focusing on the alley where Zach had last been seen. And then the first disturbing clues appeared. A pair of jeans believed to belong to Zach was found in a dumpster. His jacket was discovered nearby. It was no longer just a missing child case. Something had gone terribly wrong. Witnesses began coming forward, each account adding another layer of unease. One person said Zach looked like he was waiting for someone in the alley. Another reported seeing an off-white car nearly hit him. Then came the most chilling detail. A witness saw Zach crying, while an overweight adult man followed closely behind him. That same man had been seen before, wearing what looked like a police-style jacket. And someone recognized him. His name was Nathaniel Bar-Jonah. At first glance, Nathaniel didn't look like someone capable of unimaginable horror. But beneath that surface was a lifetime of disturbing behavior, warning signs that had been ignored, dismissed, or simply lost in a broken system. He wasn't even born with that name. He came into the world as David Paul Brown in 1957 in Worcester, Massachusetts. From infancy, something seemed different. He had unusual developmental issues, struggled physically, and displayed behaviors that made others uncomfortable. As he grew older, those behaviors became darker. He developed compulsions, disturbing habits that frightened classmates and confused teachers. He isolated himself, showed signs of aggression, and exhibited patterns that suggested something deeply wrong. But instead of intervention, there was neglect. Instead of accountability, there were excuses. At just 7 years old, Nathaniel lured a young girl into a basement under the pretense of showing her a Ouija board. What followed was an attack that could have ended in tragedy, if not for the sudden interruption that saved her life. No charges were pressed. Years later, it happened again. As a teenager, he tried to lure 2 boys into a secluded area with promises of money and a surprise. Again, no consequences. People believed he needed help, not punishment. That belief would come at a devastating cost. By the time he reached adulthood, Nathaniel had escalated. He began impersonating authority figures, police officers, FBI agents, using that false sense of trust to manipulate children. In one case, he abducted a young boy, leaving him severely injured and near death. He was arrested, but not for long. Through a series of failures, miscommunication, leniency, and systemic breakdowns, Nathaniel repeatedly slipped through the cracks. Even after multiple violent incidents, he was released back into society. At one point, after being deemed dangerous enough for institutional care, psychologists testified that he was no longer a threat. And just like that, he was free again. Within weeks, he was already targeting another child. The pattern was clear. The danger was obvious. But somehow, it still wasn't enough. Eventually, Nathaniel moved to Great Falls, Montana, living quietly, blending into a community that had no idea who he truly was, until Zach disappeared. Detective Bill Bellucci refused to ignore the signs. While others followed standard procedures, he focused on Nathaniel. The witness descriptions matched. The behavior matched. But getting a search warrant wasn't easy. For years, Nathaniel managed to stay just out of reach, until 1999. After spotting him repeatedly near a school wearing suspicious gear, Bellucci finally had enough to act. Nathaniel was arrested for impersonating an officer, and this time police were granted a search warrant. What they found inside his home was beyond disturbing. There were items used for impersonation, badges, uniforms, weapons. But that was just the beginning. Investigators discovered albums filled with images of children, documents describing restraint techniques, and then something even more chilling: a coded journal. At first, it looked like nonsense. But when it was finally decoded, the truth was horrifying. It wasn't random writing. It was a cookbook. And the names of the recipes suggested something unthinkable. Little boy, pot pie. French fried kid. Little boy, stew. Investigators were left with a terrifying question. Were these fantasies or confessions? Further searches uncovered even more evidence. A list of over 50 boys, some known victims from his past. At the bottom of the list, Zachary Ramsey. Next to his name was a single word: died. There were also thousands of photographs, undeveloped film, hair found in a meat grinder, bone fragments buried at a previous residence. DNA confirmed the remains belonged to children, but not Zach. Zach's fate remained unknown. Then came one final disturbing detail. Neighbors recalled that shortly after Zach disappeared, Nathaniel hosted cookouts, serving burgers that tasted unusual. He claimed it was deer meat. But there was no evidence he had hunted anything, and records showed he stopped buying food during that period. Despite everything uncovered, the case against him for Zach's disappearance fell apart. There wasn't enough direct evidence. And heartbreakingly, Zach's own mother refused to believe her son was gone, convinced by outside influences that he was still alive somewhere. Without her support, prosecutors were forced to drop the charges. But Nathaniel would not walk free again. Using other victims, other cases, and overwhelming evidence of abuse, he was finally sentenced to 130 years in prison. No parole, no second chances. In 2008, he died of a heart attack inside his prison cell, taking his darkest secrets with him. To this day, what truly happened to Zachary Ramsey remains a mystery. His body was never found. No full confession was ever given. Only fragments of evidence and a trail of horror left behind. This case wasn't just about one man. It was about a system that failed again and again. Warnings ignored, opportunities missed, lives destroyed. How many tragedies could have been prevented if action had been taken earlier? How many victims never got justice? And how many people like him are still out there, hidden in plain sight? If this story leaves you with anything, let it be this. Sometimes, the most dangerous individuals aren't the ones hiding in the shadows. They're the ones who were seen, reported, and still allowed to walk free. Stay aware, stay cautious, and as always, stay safe.